You think dating a younger woman is a win, a dream, proof that you've still got value, but that thinking, it's the first mistake, because what she sees in you isn't age, it's presence, certainty, depth, and the second you start proving, performing, or trying to hold on to her, it's over. She won't tell you what went wrong. She'll just drift, colder, quieter, until you're stuck wondering what the hell happened. Let me save you from that spiral. If you're serious about keeping her attention, her respect, and her desire, you need to know these 7 rules. She won't say them, but she lives by them. And if you break them, she won't explain. She'll vanish. As a relationship coach, I've worked with men who seem to have everything: wealth, confidence, life experience. But when it came to younger women, they kept losing them, quietly. No drama, just distance. They didn't do anything wrong, but they also didn't know what to do right. If you've ever felt that silent pull away, hit subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what was the moment you knew something shifted, even if she never said a word? We need to talk about these moments, because they always mean something, and these 7 rules explain exactly why. Number 1, the illusion of winning. She chose you, but she's still watching you think you won. She said yes to the date. She laughed at your jokes. She even told her friends she likes older men. And now, here you are, pouring her wine, wearing that smug little smirk like you cracked the code. But let me tell you something that most men refuse to hear. Just because she chose you doesn't mean she's committed to you. Not emotionally, not psychologically, not energetically. You weren't chosen as a permanent resident in her life. You were selected for a trial period, a probationary window where she's still watching, still evaluating, still testing whether the confidence that drew her in is real or just well-rehearsed charisma. This is where most older men fall flat. You confuse attention with admiration. You think the yes means she's yours. No, the yes was permission to begin the real audition. And guess what? She's not easy to fool. You see, younger women live in a different psychological economy. They're bombarded with options, DMs, hey beautifuls, and mediocre men selling hope by the dozen. So what gets her attention? Something different. Not just older, but elevated. Not just confident, but composed. Not just successful, but still growing. She didn't pick you because you're older. She picked you in spite of it, because for a moment, you stood out. But the second you act like that moment was the finish line instead of the starting gun, she feels it. And she disconnects. You stop leading. You stop upgrading. You start acting like a man who's afraid to lose her, instead of a man who knows she'd be lucky to stay. That's the illusion. You think she's impressed. She's actually investigating. She's observing how you move when the spotlight fades. Are you still sharp? Still grounded? Still busy building something bigger than her? Or did her approval become your goal? Because here's the harsh truth. Once she feels like she's the prize and you're the winner, she loses respect. Desire fades. Curiosity dies. She looks around and suddenly, the older guy starts to feel old. So don't mistake being chosen for being kept. The game doesn't end when she says yes. That's when it actually begins. And if you're not still earning her curiosity, you're already losing her attention. Number 2, frame or fade. Why confidence isn't a skill, it's a state. Let me make something very clear. A younger woman doesn't fall for your words, she falls for your state. And the moment your inner world starts depending on her outer approval, she feels it. And she checks out. This is where so many older men mess it up. You think confidence is about what you say, about how tall you stand, about cracking jokes and ordering the steak without looking at the menu. That's performative. That's a skill. But what she's watching for is your state, your frame, your core energy when she pushes, flirts, pulls away, or questions your vibe. And believe me, she will test it. Not because she's toxic, but because she needs to know, is this man grounded in something real? Or is he just pretending until I validate him? She'll say something subtle. So, do you usually date younger women? She's not asking out of curiosity. She's scanning your reaction. You laugh nervously? You over-explain? You act like you're guilty of some forbidden crime? Congratulations. You just lost the frame. Now she knows you're seeking approval, not standing in truth. And no matter how cool you try to act afterwards, it's already registered. See, younger women have an uncanny ability to sense emotional dissonance. You're saying one thing, but your energy's leaking neediness, uncertainty, or validation seeking. She may not be able to explain it, but she feels it. It's primal, instant. Because here's what you don't realize. Women don't just listen to your words. They listen through them. They scan for incongruence. They test for emotional solidity. They push lightly, not to offend you, but to reveal you. And if your frame is built on the idea that, I got her because she's young and I'm lucky, then you've already put her on the pedestal, and yourself in the pit. That frame will collapse the moment she sees that your value is based on her youth rather than your depth. She doesn't want a man who sees her age as a trophy. She wants a man whose worth would be magnetic regardless of hers. Confidence to her isn't bravado, it's quiet conviction. It's when you can smile at her tests and still hold your line, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. She wants to know that if she vanished tomorrow, your world would still be spinning. That your life is full, not because of her, but because of who you've built yourself to be. So if you want to keep her, stop acting like your value depends on her choosing you. Start moving like she was drawn to your center. And that center doesn't bend. Because the moment she senses your confidence was just a pose, you fade from her attraction radar completely. Number 3. Fan behavior kills desire. If you want to lose a younger woman faster than a dad joke at a nightclub, here's how. Act like her biggest fan. I'm serious. Praise her constantly. Tell her how lucky you feel. Blow up her phone with heart emojis and "Good morning, beautiful" texts. Shower her with compliments like you're trying to win Employee of the Month at her fan club. That's the exact behavior that kills desire. Fast. Because here's what you don't get. She's already surrounded by fans. She's used to being liked. She's used to men orbiting her, chasing her, performing for her attention. And you? You just became another one. You weren't supposed to be the admirer. You were supposed to be the standard. That's why she went out with you in the first place. Because at first, you didn't act like her audience. You moved like a man with options. A man who evaluates. A man who doesn't hand out attention like candy. But then you saw her smile, her body, her youth, and something flipped. Now you're trying too hard, laughing too loud, nodding too much, adapting to her music, her slang, her vibe, trying to relate instead of leading. And she feels it. The moment you shift from grounded to grateful, she shifts from attracted to unimpressed. Let me be clear. She doesn't want to be worshipped. She wants to be claimed. Worship makes her feel superior, but being claimed makes her feel chosen by a man who could walk away at any moment, but doesn't. That's power. That's polarity. That's what lights her up. And this is where older men need to wake up. Thinking that being nice, accommodating, and proving you're not like the other guys will make her love you. No, it makes her bored. Attraction doesn't grow in safety. It grows in tension, curiosity, polarity. She doesn't want to be with someone who tries to match her energy. She wants to be with someone who commands it. So what's the fix? Stop talking so much. Start moving with intention. Stop flooding her with compliments. Let your silence challenge her. Stop trying to earn her time. Let her earn yours. And most importantly, show her your world. Don't narrate your admiration for hers. Women don't remember men who praise them. They remember men who make them feel challenged, seen, and led. So if you've been acting like a fan, step back. Reclaim your frame. Reclaim your silence. Reclaim your damn presence. Because she doesn't need another follower. She needs a man she can follow. Number 4, lead like a man, not like a manager. Here's what most men don't realize. Planning isn't leading. Picking a nice restaurant, booking a table, arranging the Uber, those are tasks, logistics, the bare minimum. And if you think that's enough to impress a younger woman, you're not leading her. You're just managing her calendar. There's a massive difference between a man who plans and a man who leads. And trust me, she can feel it. A leader doesn't just pick the place. He sets the tone, the pace, the energy. He invites her into a world that already has momentum, with or without her. That's what a younger woman is craving. Not just the experience, but the direction. Younger men her age, they don't lead. They suggest, they ask, what do you feel like doing? They waffle, they stall. They let the woman take control because they're scared of seeming controlling. So when you step in with clarity, not arrogance, but intent, she notices. She exhales. She leans back. She relaxes. Because finally, she's not responsible for steering everything. Finally, she can feel feminine. And here's the twist. Most older men screw this up by doing too much of the wrong kind of leading. They turn into managers. They give instructions like they're running a team meeting. They micromanage the vibe. They over-explain every move. I thought we could go here, then maybe this, unless you want to do something else. That's not direction. That's indecisiveness wrapped in politeness. A real leader, he just moves. He makes the decision. He reads the energy. He adjusts without asking for validation. And that energy isn't limited to the date itself. It flows into every part of how he relates to her. How you text, how you touch, how you look at her when she challenges you. Even in the bedroom, especially in the bedroom. Because let me tell you something brutally honest. If you don't know how to lead her body, she will never trust you with her heart. Younger women have higher physical energy, faster rhythms, and lower tolerance for disconnection. If your approach is lazy, performative, or uncertain, she'll feel it immediately. She doesn't want a teacher. She wants a conductor, someone who doesn't ask, "Is this okay?" every 5 seconds, but who reads the room, feels the energy, and takes the lead with presence and sensitivity. And don't twist this. Leading doesn't mean being dominant or forceful. It means you go first. You go first in clarity. You go first in decisiveness. You go first in emotional stability. She wants to follow, but only if you know where you're going. So stop managing. Stop coordinating. Stop asking her to figure it out together. Lead her into moments she didn't even know she wanted. That's not control. That's masculine direction. And if you can't provide that, she'll start seeking it elsewhere. Number 5, upgrade her world, but don't become her professor. Here's the part that trips up the intellectual older guy faster than you can say TED Talk. Yes, she's attracted to your experience. Yes, she loves that you've seen more, built more, lived more. But the moment you start acting like a walking life manual, you lose her. Let me say it plain. You're here to upgrade her world, not to educate her out of hers. You see, younger women crave expansion. They're naturally curious. They want to taste new realities, step into new rooms, see what life looks like beyond their age group. That's what drew her to you. The sense that you've been places, that you could show her something she hasn't seen before. But here's where you mess it up. Instead of inviting her into your experience, you turn into a professor. You start lecturing. You start correcting. You break down her every opinion, her every plan, her every Instagram story like it's part of a coaching seminar. You don't realize it, but in trying to give her wisdom, what she feels is judgment. And judgment kills polarity. Because while you're trying to show how enlightened you are, what she's feeling is this. He doesn't respect where I am. He thinks I'm wrong for being 24. Let me give you a painful truth. If you make her feel small to make yourself feel wise, she'll leave without a second thought. You're not her mentor. You're not her dad. You're the man she wants to feel alive with. So how do you upgrade her world without becoming her professor? You create experiential leadership. Don't tell her about that five-star restaurant in Paris. Take her somewhere unexpected with the same class. Don't explain why emotional maturity matters. Model it when she's spiraling. Don't teach her why good men don't play games. Be the man who doesn't. Let her feel it, taste it, live it. Because here's the thing, she will learn from you. But not because you made her sit down and take notes. She'll learn because your presence makes her want to rise. When you're grounded, she gets curious. When you're still, she gets playful. When you're intentional, she starts asking better questions, not because you pushed, but because she felt the difference. That's what real upgrading looks like. She doesn't need a sermon. She needs a spark. She doesn't need life lessons. She needs lived experience. And if she's smart, and she probably is, she'll soak it all in. But only if you make her feel like a woman exploring something powerful, not a student getting corrected every time she speaks. So next time you want to drop a truth bomb, ask yourself, am I leading her into a bigger world or just trying to make her smaller in mine? Because one path draws her closer, the other sends her running. Number 6, handle her storms without losing your center. Let's talk about emotional volatility, hers, not yours. If you're dating a younger woman and expecting emotional predictability, you're in the wrong game. These women are still discovering themselves. They're riding waves of hormones, ambition, identity shifts, social chaos, and sensory overload, all while trying to seem like they have it together. She'll be hot one moment, cold the next, inspired by you on Monday, ignoring your texts by Wednesday. And here's the test you weren't trained for. Can you stay centered when her storm hits? Because here's what most men do. They react. They try to fix her feelings. They take her moods personally. They get defensive, sarcastic, or emotionally flustered, thinking, what did I do wrong? Or worse, how do I make her like me again? And in that moment, you just failed the test. You showed her your frame was built on her validation. You let her chaos infect your calm. And now, you've become part of the storm, not the eye of it. Let me give it to you straight. Younger women don't need a man who understands every emotion. They need a man who doesn't get swallowed by them. When she spirals, you hold. When she doubts, you breathe. When she pushes, you ground. That's not suppression. That's containment. That's what real masculine presence feels like. Not icy, not robotic, just steady. She doesn't want you to fix her. She wants to feel safe falling apart near you because she knows you won't crumble when she does. And here's the truth most men never hear. Your calm is more attractive than your words. You can be saying all the right things, but if your energy is frantic, she senses it and pulls away. On the flip side, you can say almost nothing, but if your vibe is grounded, unshakable, warm, she leans in without even knowing why. Because women are not logic-first creatures when it comes to attraction. They feel safety before they trust. They feel your energy before they believe your compliments. So when she's testing your limits, spinning in her own self-doubt, or emotionally flaring for no apparent reason, don't mirror her chaos. Mirror her deeper desire to feel held. Stand your ground. Don't lecture. Don't fix. Don't retreat. Breathe. Listen. Say less. Let your silence speak certainty. Let your tone disarm tension. Let your presence be the thing that says, storm all you want. I'm still here. Still me. Because the man who can hold her storm without losing his center, that's the man she keeps coming back to. That's the man who becomes irreplaceable. Not because he controls her, but because he never lets her chaos control him. Number 7, the power to walk away. What truly makes you irreplaceable? You want to know what makes a man unforgettable? It's not his money, not his charisma, not even his presence. It's his ability to walk away without flinching. See, most older men think that because they've secured the younger woman, their job is to keep her happy at all costs, to accommodate, adjust, tolerate, and prove, again and again, that they're worthy of her youth. But here's the bitter truth she'll never say out loud. The moment she feels like you won't leave, she stops respecting you. Not because she's cruel, but because women instinctively test limits. And if there are no consequences for crossing yours, then your boundaries are just suggestions. You become safe, predictable, soft, and eventually, invisible. Younger women will play games, not always maliciously, but instinctively. She might flirt with that guy in front of you, withhold affection, cancel plans last minute, say something just sharp enough to cut your pride. Not because she wants you to beg, but because she wants to know, are you still a man? A man doesn't bark back. He doesn't whine. He doesn't lecture. He just decides. He knows his worth. He knows his limit. He knows the difference between emotional endurance and emotional self-abandonment. That's the power to walk away. And that power, it's the most magnetic quality you will ever carry. Because when a woman feels that you don't need her to feel whole, she either levels up or leaves, and either outcome is a win. But if you give her the sense that you're terrified of losing her, that she's your last shot at intimacy, youth, excitement, you become disposable, instantly. Listen carefully. The final test isn't about how well you lead, how smooth you sound, or how good the chemistry is. The final test is, can you leave if respect leaves the room? If she's disrespectful, if she plays you, if she tries to weaponize your desire against you, can you smile and walk? Not out of ego, not out of revenge, but out of clarity. Because she will feel that. She will feel the difference between a man who stays because he wants to, and one who stays because he's afraid not to. One sparks desire, the other sparks indifference. So don't just be charming, don't just be generous. Don't just be the man she can't believe said yes to her. Be the man who never needs her approval to feel powerful. Because when she knows you can walk, that's when she wants to stay. So let's get one thing straight. Dating a younger woman is not the fantasy most men think it is. It's not the reward. It's not the finish line. It's not the trophy at the end of your success story. It's the beginning of a far more ruthless game. Because this isn't about youth and beauty. This is about energy, frame, psychological power. You're not just older. You're expected to be stronger, calmer, deeper. If she wanted immaturity, she'd go back to the guys her age. What she's looking for is something her generation can't give her. Masculine grounding. Direction. A man who moves like the world bends around him, not the other way around. And here's what separates the men who win from the men who get wrecked. The ones who win don't chase her. They lead her. They don't worship her youth. They embody timeless value. They don't panic when she pulls back. They hold still and watch her come closer. Because attraction is not about making her feel like a goddess. It's about making her feel something she doesn't even understand. Safety, tension, inspiration, respect, all without a word. That's not game, that's gravity. But if you show up insecure, trying too hard, adjusting to her mood swings, seeking approval every step of the way, you'll get the opposite of love. You'll get resistance. She won't break up with you dramatically. She'll slowly disengage, emotionally disappear. One text less excited, one response more delayed, until one day you realize you've become just another older guy who didn't get it. And the real tragedy? It won't be because you weren't attractive. It'll be because you didn't know how to hold your power. So here's what I want you to remember. It's not about chasing youth. It's about embodying what youth can't provide. Certainty, calm, leadership, mystery, and the power to walk at any time. If you can do that, if you can hold your line when she's pushing, lead when she's testing, stay composed when she's chaotic, she'll follow you deeper than any woman your age ever has. Not because you asked, but because you earned it. Because you became the man she can't replace. Now, if this hits something in you, good. That discomfort you're feeling, that's clarity waking up. That's the part of you that's done being soft just to be liked. So if you're ready to stop performing and start embodying real power, subscribe. This channel isn't about chasing women. It's about becoming the man who never has to. The man who doesn't ask to be chosen. He chooses.